All right, friends, we are back with another episode, and today we are going to start by taking note of a few things. I'm just going to get rid of anything highlighted here for we can do what we're going to do. We are going to actually separate these guys into separate characters, and since they're exact images of each other, we're just going to copy, and that way we can keep our original, and we'll just do a 3D copy. And we will go to new, we will go to canvas, we will make it transparent, we'll go to shape, for example, and we'll paste. Okay, now we are going to save this under a name specific, whatever you want to name it, number 2, maybe something like that. Your character name, number 2, Jim 2, I already have a Jim actually. Jerry, I have no Jerry's. 01. So we're just going to mark it like that. We're going to save it. Now this is saved. We're going to close it. We're not going to save it there. And we're going to do the same over here. And we're just going to take our second image. And you're going to see why we're doing that in a minute. Why is it doing that? I don't understand. Because I left and came back. I don't really understand. I might have to reopen this. What's going on? Let's see. We can do it like this, I guess. I don't know why it's being weird. Oops, it's not 2D, it's 3D. Oops, not 3E, 3D. There we go. We'll go new. Oh, we will make the canvas transparent. Very important part. Because if you don't, the rest of what I'm going to show you is not going to work. And again, I know that there is animation programs out there, and I know you can get them pretty cheap, and it would probably help a lot with this type of thing. But I think that making one of these in all its basics is going to give you a better idea of what to do once you get that program. So I still would go through with this lesson, even if you plan to update to something better, an animation assistant or something like that. All right, so we got this, and we need our last one, Jerry. So we're going to name it Jerry 2, for example. Jerry 2. Oh, we'll do 02. I think I did it right. Alright, so we got our Jerry 02 there. He's pretty good. So what we need to do now, we can close that. We don't need to save, and we can close that, and it doesn't need to save. And we can open up Clipchamp. I am on Clipchamp, the online right now. Up here you'll see .com at the end, and that's why it says that. You can get the app free from Windows 10. You can use it for free and install it for free. Granted, you still have Windows Edge, I think is their browser, and you need to have that, otherwise you're going to have to use the online version. As you see, I got many projects in here. I've done lots of stuff in here. I use it pretty well, but we'll just go with the example today of how to use this. So we're going to create a new video today. That's probably going to be your first video if you've never used this. And we are going to open our example file. And our example file are some of the things we made in our last video, but we did not get. Let's go grab I need to grab our Jerry's. So I'm going to grab our Jerry's, and I'm going to take them to our example file. And you can name it whatever you want, but you get the idea. I would keep them all together in their own separate file. And then we need to go. Where did it go after? I don't see it. Where's the Jerry file? Example. All right, it's not a Jerry file. That's why I can't find it. So then we have these all in one place, and we're able to easily use them. I also made us a little rabbit. We can check it out. There's a little rabbit I made just for something for a prop, to give you an example of a prop, and to kind of get you started on how you're going to organize your files and move these through. So first of all, we're going to add in our background, and it's going to be real easy to do because there's really nothing much to it. It's a simple picture. Oops. Let's just put that back, and then we're going to fill it. We're going to fill the background if you want to lift the bottom up like that, or if you want to close off make more of a top on the top. It's all up to you, depending what you drew, everything else, obviously. So we'll go back to our example, and we are going to grab our Jerry. And we're going to give you an example of how we can make basically a stop motion within. So we're going to grab our 01, Thank you for doing that. And we're going to grab our 02. And it's just the same picture. One picture he's talking, one he's not. So let's put our first one in. Keeping in mind, when you layer things, whatever's lower, whenever you put something on top, it's actually going to be behind it in the background. And I'll give you an example of that too. I might have that backwards. I have dyslexia, so I get this stuff backwards. Alright, but let's just first grab them both, right? And we're just, oh, you can see they're a little bit off actually. Let's grab one at a time and try to match them a bit better. And I must have positioned them slightly different because they were slightly different. That's pretty close, I think. Might be a hair off, but you can move it into a finer position or whatever you need to do and take your time a bit more than me. But I think that's about right. So we'll grab them both. Since we have them both, we can now size them together. So when we make this one size, both pieces will be the same. Shrink it down to like 1/4 of a second, depending on how many frames per second you want to make. Most films, animation are at least 4 or over. So keeping that in mind, you'd want to have your motions, your movements in down to about 1/4, but it's completely up to you. If you want to start a little less technical and just go a little more, that's fine too. We'll go 1/2 a second. We're just off. Let's try to nail that a bit better. There we go. That looks about right. Take the top one off. And now when you see, when we go forward, he starts to speak. He opens his mouth. And this is where it's going to get difficult depending on what you're trying to do, what you're trying to say. It could be as simple as, and this one we're not going to be able to copy because we're online. We're only going to be able to duplicate. So we can do this, right? And now we have the emotion open, shut, all right? So maybe if we cut it off to about here, depending what your audio is, we can drag this one forward and we won't have to keep duplicating, right? And let's see, we can grab this one and we can duplicate it, but we won't have to after this one. Stretch it out to the amount of speech that you're gonna have. And I am gonna do another video after this on how to add audio. So if that's gonna be an issue, make sure to tune in for the next one. I'll put them out pretty fast and should get a dear friend that we've just gotten to know recently moving on their animation that they're trying to make. Sometimes it's more important to tell your story than the actual animation itself. So again, we would just cut it off where we'll split it where we think the talk would end. And now we've got 2 more to keep going, and we can just stretch them and cut them to the right sizes to match up with our talk. This way is very labor intensive. You're going to be spending a lot of time matching speech, mouth movement, and so on. And again, there is farther down the road programs, but this is more going to get you the idea of animations for you. If you get through this all and you absolutely love what you've done, then it was worth it. And if you don't, then it wasn't. And I said I'd give one more example, so let's grab this real quick. We'll bring our bunny in. And again, he's on a transparent background. The reason being for the transparent backgrounds is it's always going to make it for when we lay it over the picture that you only see the bunny, and that's why if you have a background, it's going to block out the whole page. So we're always going to have to do transparency. And as you see, he now goes in front of the guy. And if we wanted to do the opposite, so say you wanted to have him run behind, oops, I got the wrong guy here. I got the wrong guy. Let's see, now I got to make sure I grab the bunny. He's a little harder to grab this way, but you can see I tuck behind him now, and that's all to do with layering. That'll give your characters depth and your animations depth without actually having to do the actual thinking. You just have to think about what kind of layering you need to have, basically. So there you have it. There's basic how-to animations. Maybe we'll set this guy up to walk just to give an example of that. But let's take him up top to make it easier, and if we needed to, we could just drag the whole thing down if we wanted him to be on the bottom side. But let's just make him enter our scene, and you'll see what I mean about the speed difference. We're up to 1 second, so let's move this one. We'll give him a hop, and you're gonna have to use your eye for a lot of that. Hop down, and I'm sure there's a better way. Again, But if you're just starting animation and you just want to see what it's going to be like, and if you're going to be into it, I think this is honestly the way to go. And then you can test it at any time if you're using Clipchamp, which again is a free Windows product. It's not the best product out there, but I am just using free things. We made this all in Windows 3D animation, and now we're using Windows Clipchamp, both free. So let's just have a look at what it looks like. There's our guy talking as our bunny hops through. You can see his movement's pretty slow, and that's what I was talking about with the frame rate. If we wanted to maybe make this a quarter, we would see a lot more a vigorous bunny. We'd have to guess at a lot of these or stack them up top. But also would take a lot less time for our bunny to get in here. Now, I will do another video if you guys want on Clipchamp itself and things you could get there for free and use, because it does have a ton of things that you can actually just use for free, from introduction screens to templates to free music to be careful with the music though, because some of it is copyrighted, so maybe that's something you want to stay away from actually. GIFs, all kinds of things that you could use. So if you want a video on that, let me know, and we'll move into adding audio on the next one, and we'll make this a bit longer. Let's see where our bunny's at. So why are you back there? I thought you jumped forward for more than that. Yeah, that one's in the same spot. You can also spread out his movement to make it more exaggerated to add a sense of speed to it. You're gonna have to find sweet spots as you kind of work through it and see what you like, what you're looking for, what kind of cartoon, what kind of animation. You can add foot movement by switching these images. Say I make a duplicate of the bunny, I make 1 foot move forward, 1 foot move forward, and then the opposite obviously, and then we can have a full movement of them too. Depends how in depth you want to get, but as you can see, our bunny sped up quite a bit, and that's just by improving the frame rate. We're not even quite at 4 a second, we're actually way over that, so they could be even smaller. But you're seeing, again, depends what you're going for a fight scene or something, you might want to move up to 5 or 6 frame rates per second. So anyways, there you have it, an easy example of how to start making animations. There's a billion things you can do with just these, from telling your story in an easy, fun way to making an elaborate movie or video or telling a complete story. Whatever your project is, I wish you tons of luck, and I hope you get there, because it's a hard thing to keep pushing for your dream, but if you keep pushing, you're going to get there one day. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hammer that thumbs up. Check out my other content if you'd like to see some of my animations, or check out some of the links to my games. I make games on Steam. I play other people's games. And yeah, I have a lot of fun. So come check me out. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.